So, graph using intercepts. Find the x-intercept and vertex, then graph it. You're given this equation right here. So, if I want to find the x-intercepts, which method am I doing? Quadratic formula or factoring, right? It's always hand in hand. So, either quadratic formula or factoring. Looking at this right here, if I were to do the quadratic formula, what's A, what's B, what's C? A is, B is, C is, good. Okay. So if I were to do the quadratic formula, I would use this A, B, and C. If I see it factorable, I do prefer the factor way because it's faster. So looking at this, I can tell it's 2x and x and 7 and 1. All right. When you cross multiply, I can see that I get the 14x plus the 1x, and I get that plus 15x. Okay, so there you go. We factored it. My equation is going to be y equal. So what's my two brackets? Okay, I found the factors. So to write out my two brackets, Rosie? The other way. Right. Okay. So remember, you write it. That's one bracket. That's your second bracket. So those are your two brackets. Okay. Once I have this, I can do my two arrows to figure out what is my x-intercepts. Okay. Why we're doing this is because to find the x-intercept, we let y be 0. Okay, so when y is 0, that means we can set them up like this. So 2x equals -1. So x is -1 over 2. Or if you want, you can just say, you can use decimals on the test, that's fine. You can do -0.5. Okay. And on this hand, you have x equals -7. So what did we just find? Nikki? The x-intercepts. So -0.5, which is right here, and -7, which is right here. So we found our two x-intercepts. Okay. Now I need to find the vertex. Right? What's one way to find the vertex? Eagle? Complete the square. Good. But since we got to this part, is there an easy way that we can find the vertex? Nikki? Right. Again, your parabola is symmetrical. So if you find the middle of these 2 points, that's going to be the x value of your vertex. So x equals -0.5 plus -7 divided by 2. -0.5 plus -7 divided by 2, you get -3.75. Okay, so it means my parabola is somewhere here. Okay, now, do you think my vertex is up here in quadrant 2 or down here in quadrant 3? So who says my vertex is going to be up here? Who says my vertex is going to be down here? Okay, good. So Daniel, why will my vertex be down here? You're right.
Well, it's because due to the fact that the original equation doesn't have any negatives, therefore it is up min at y equals.
Yeah. Okay, good job.
So we'll be going up, so I have to
Yeah, right. So notice my parabola opens up because it's a 2. it opens up, so it has to be like this. Okay, so that means my vertex has to be down here somewhere. Okay, so where exactly? Well, you have an equation that's y equal. So I'm going to substitute that negative 3.75 for x here and for x here. So y equal 2 times negative 3.75 square plus 15 times negative 3.75 plus 7. Right? So that was my equation. I want to find out when x is negative 3.75, what is y? So I can sub it into the equation. And I get y to be about negative 21.2. 0.1. Negative 21 point. I'll just do it like that. Okay. Negative 21.125. Okay. So what's my vertex? Oops, actually. What's the coordinate of my vertex here? Oh, I just finished my whole whiteout. Okay, so the coordinate of my vertex. Equal? Perfect. Okay, which is about right here. Okay. So I have 3 points. I want 5 points. Okay. Without doing any work. Can somebody tell me one more point on this parabola? Without doing any work. I should be able to pick out one more point. Taisha. Oh, I thought your hand was up. One more point. Victor. The y-intercept. What is my y-intercept? 7. Remember, standard form tells you your y-intercept, so it's 7. So there we go. I have one more point. Okay. Again, without doing any math, without doing any work, how can I get the 5th point? Right? It's just on the other side, right? It's a symmetrical parabola. So if this is 0.5 and negative 0.5, that means this side is going to be negative 7.5. So negative 7.5 and 7. Because it's symmetrical. Every point is symmetrical. And there you go. We have 5 points. That's enough. And we can draw our parabola. And then, okay, there we go. Okay. Makes sense. Sounds good. Okay. But so much work just to graph a parabola. Now, is there an easier way to graph? Yes, there is, actually. Shortcut. I love teaching you guys shortcuts. Why do the math long way when you can do an easy way? Alright, so there is another method we could use to find the vertex. Remember this? This was from the first lesson of this chapter when we did complete the square on a standard form. We came up with this. So let's see, if we use this, let's see what we get. X equals negative b over 2a. At the beginning of class, I was asking you guys what was the a, b, and c. Then you guys told me a was 2, b is 15, c is 7. So negative 15 over 2 times 2 Negative 15 over 4. When you divide that, what do you get? Negative 15 over 4. Negative 3.75. Oh. Ta-da! So technically, we could use this shortcut to skip all this and then just do this part. And then we can figure out what our vertex is. Okay. And then from here, sub to find y, and then you will get your vertex. Alright. Once you get your vertex, then you can do step method or any other method. Okay. So this is a little shortcut that you could use whenever your equation is given in standard form. That's how you can find your vertex fast. Okay. If you like the shortcut, sure. If you don't like it, do complete the square. Okay. So just wanted to share one more method with you guys so that you guys have a choice. Okay, sounds good. Okay, on the back. Okay, so this example 2, we actually did it last chapter. I'm reiterating it because it's important. I want to make sure that we all know what to do. Okay. So write an equation in standard form to represent the parabola given right here. Okay. So what points did I give you here? Yep. X-intercepts and the vertex. So I could actually do both methods. I could show the I could use either form because I'm given both. Okay, so for this one is actually very similar to the one that you had on your last test. So let's say I'm going to use my x-intercepts. So since this is negative 4, that means in the bracket is x plus 4. And the second one, since this is at 6, my equation is going to be x minus 6. Right? From your last test, a lot of you guys were able to write this, but then forgot the a, which was the whole purpose of that question, to find a. Right? You don't know how much is stretched or compressed by. That's what you need to figure out. Okay, so we have this equation, we set it up. Since we used the 2 x-intercepts already, I can't use them again. So what other point should I use? My vertex then, 1, negative 5. So sub in negative 5 for y, and sub in the 1 for x. So a bracket plus 4 minus 6. Right? I set it up with my x-intercepts, so I need to use my other point to sub in for x and y. So negative 5 equal a times 5 times negative 5. So negative 5 equals a times negative 25. Divide that. So negative 5 over negative 25. So what's a? After reducing it. Mohammed? It's 5 over 25. It's 5 over 25, so it's 1 over 5. Good. Okay.
Negative?
No, because two negatives make a positive. The two negatives.
Also known as 0.2.
Sure. Okay. As I said, I'll let you guys use decimals if you need to. That's fine. Okay. So now that I know what A is, I can substitute it back into the original equation. So on the last test as well, some of you found A but never gave me the equation. And then lost marks there. So x plus 4, x minus 6. Okay. If I left it like this, will I get full marks? Why not, Victor? Put it in standard form. So how do I put it in standard form? How do I go from factor form to standard form? FOIL. Good job. Expand it out. So y equals 1/5 x squared minus 6x plus 4x minus 24. Sorry, the grid is a little too dark, so it's hard to see. Okay, so when you simplified everything, you'll get y equal 1/5 x squared. This is negative 2x, so minus 2/5 x. And then this is negative 24 over 5. Okay. Now, there were two methods I could have used to solve this. Because I was given the x-intercepts and the vertex, I had a choice. And I want to make sure you guys know how to do both ways as well. So I want to show a second method. Okay. So here, this side I did using the x-intercepts. Now I'm going to do with the vertex. So using the vertex, I'm going to write it in vertex form. Y equal a x minus 1 squared minus 5. Okay, you see this is vertex form using the minus 1, minus 5. Okay, again, you have to have that a in there. That was the whole purpose of doing all this work, to find out what a is. Since I use my vertex, I have to use one of the other points. So I could use this one or this one. I'm going to use the 6, 0. Okay, the 6, 0. So this is 0, and the x is 6. A bracket 6 minus 1 squared minus 5. Okay, so 0 equals a times 6 minus 1, 5, 5 squared, 25. Okay. Move that negative 5 over. It becomes 5. And then divide that 25. So 5 over 25 is a. So a is the same thing, 1/5. When you reduce it, you get 1/5. Okay. How do I write this in vertex form? My equation in vertex form. Y equal. Yep.
Y equals 1 over 5.
Mm-hmm.
Brackets x minus 1 squared minus 5.
Perfect. Okay. If I do FOIL and expand this out, what will I get? This. Okay. And that's because this equation, this equation, this equation All right, all three of these equations are the exact same thing. It's the same equation. This factor form tells you your x-intercepts. This standard form tells you your y-intercept. And this vertex form tells you your vertex. So there you go. Okay. So it's you need to know this. You may see it again in the final exam. That's why I keep going back to this to make sure that you guys know how to do it. All right. One last example. Final example right here. Okay, for this parabola right here, determine the x-intercepts fortified using the quadratic formula and a graph. Okay. So let's expand this out first because I want to do the quadratic formula. I want to use the quadratic formula, so I'm going to expand this out. So I get x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus 3. Right, when you do FOIL for this, you'll get this part. So when I simplify, I get y equal x squared minus 4x plus 7. Right? Okay. What's A? What's B? What's C? Yeah, Echo? Good. Okay, let's substitute it into the formula now. Negative b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So negative 4 plus or minus square root negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 7 all over 2 times 1. Okay. So x equal 4 plus or minus square root. Can somebody do this math for me, please? Negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 7. What do you get? J? Negative 12. Okay, who has a calculator? Who has a calculator? Okay, those who have a calculator, do square root 12 for me. Negative 12. Square root negative 12. Square root negative 12. What do you get? Corin? Error. Yeah, you cannot square root a negative number. Well, technically you can until you get to grade 11. But when you get into grade 11, you learn imaginary numbers. But for now, we can't square root a negative number. So it doesn't work. But wait a minute, I thought Miss Ching said the quadratic formula works for everything. Did she lie to us? Yes. Okay, so why is it not working? Why is the quadratic formula not working? Caitlin? Expand on that. What's undefined? What does the quadratic formula help you find? Okay? The x-intercepts. So if it doesn't work, what does that mean? There's no x-intercepts. So if there's no x-intercept, how could the quadratic formula work? Okay. Let's check. What's my vertex right here? Since this is my in vertex form. What's the vertex? Yep. 2 and 3. Does this open up or open down? Up. Because this is positive, right? So 2, 3, and my parabola opens upwards. So how is it gonna cross my x-axis? Okay, so that's why when you get a negative radical, it tells you that, oh, doesn't work. it doesn't cross my x-axis. So there is no x-intercept. All right. So is there a fast way that I could have found this out without having to do all this work? Because I just wasted 5 minutes of life right here. And then realized that there was no x-intercept. Yeah, there is. We have this to help us determine the number of roots, number of x-intercepts, number of zeros. And because it's so special, there's the special name for this. It starts with a D. Anyone know? Ryan, do you know? D. Yeah. Discriminant, yeah. Discriminant. Sounds so fancy. Okay. Not yet. I'm almost up. Okay. So how we can determine the discriminant is by doing the b squared minus 4ac. Where have we seen this? B squared minus 4ac sounds so familiar. Nikki? Yeah, it's in the quadratic formula, just the square root part. So if our square root, we can get a positive number, then it means how many x-intercepts are there? If we get a positive number in the square root, then that means it's like the math as usual. We would get 2 x-intercepts. Okay. If after we square root it equals 0, what do you think that means? Yep, 1. You have only 1 x-intercept. And just like in this case, when we square root it, it's less than 0. What does that mean? There's 0 x-intercept, or there's none. Okay, so if you're given an equation in standard form, you can just do this part to figure out how many x-intercepts there are. Okay. Any questions on today's lesson? Okay, so your homework. Remember, I will do homework check again tomorrow because I was so disappointed today. 5, 6, 8, 9, 15. Okay, 5 questions for homework. You guys do have about close to half an hour to get started on this work. All right, let's go. Page 289, 5, 6, 8, 9, 15.